This is Command Sergeant from 1st and 187th, Leader Rakkasans, a part of the mighty strike team, and you're watching Strike Zone Afghanistan.
Hey, Strike Brigade, how you doing? I'm Sergeant Joe Padula with the 2nd Brigade Public Affairs Office, and this is Strike Zone Afghanistan. Strike Zone Afghanistan is the Brigade's TV show dedicated to keeping you, the viewer, up to date with all the great things the Strike Brigade is doing right here in Afghanistan. On this episode, I'm going to introduce you to some pretty awesome things. Great stories about joint operations and missions, segments like Hero of the Day, Words of Wisdom, and Safety Sessions. We're also going to take a look back at the regiment's history, and of course, everyone's favorite, the Strike Soldier Hometown Shoutout. Yeah. So stick around and enjoy a show about the 101st's one and only Strike Brigade. Absolutely.
Hello, it's Captain Graham Rainey. I'm the British Exchange Officer currently staying with the Brigade in the Brigade headquarters. I'm from Bangor in Northern Ireland, so it's slightly further from home than most. Shout out to my mum and dad, my 2 brothers, my sister. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks' time when I come back on leave.
I'm Kristen Hagedorn, stationed 101st Airborne Division, 2nd Brigade in Afghanistan. I just want to give a shout out to everybody back in Homer City, Pennsylvania. Say hi to my mom and my dad and my little baby brother. And miss you guys, love you guys, and let's go Pens!
Combined Task Force Strike has been making the headlines recently with Operation Dragon Strike, an offensive that has taken it to the Taliban right in their home. One familiar unit attached to the Strike Brigade is doing it right in the Horn of Panjwai. Specialist Mike Monroe explained.
Soldiers of 1st Battalion 187 have teamed up with the soldiers of 2nd Brigade in a joint operation in the Panjwai province of Afghanistan. The Rakkasans joined the Strike Brigade in early October and were attached to the brigade for the operation.
But we're down here to do one thing, and that's to occupy, clear the Horn of Panjwai. The Horn of Panjwai that has not been touched for a few years.
The operation is aimed at insurgents in the area and is expected to have great results.
The method we came in and the planning that went on behind this, condition setting that went on before going in, allowed the forces to get on the enemy key terrain very quickly. And what I think that did to the enemy was push them off. And right now they're in, I guess, a matter of disarray. They're not sure what's happening, and they're seeing something that's different from what they've seen in the past.
For 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 101st Airborne Division Public Affairs, I'm Specialist Mike Monroe.
Great story, Specialist Monroe. And with the 2nd and 3rd Brigades working together, forget about it. Strike-a-sans, baby. Now, working out in theater is a necessity. Not only does it keep the body fit, but the mind right as well. But you gotta do it the right way. Here to show us is the Brigade's physical therapist, Captain Heather Lopez.
Hey, Sergeant Padula.
Hey, ma'am, how you doing?
Good.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Captain Heather Lopez. I'm the Brigade Physical Therapist, and I've been seeing a lot of injuries in my office just from improper lifting and from doing too much too fast. So today I wanted to show you how to lift properly, a good squat, and to make sure that you're not doing too much too soon. So first things first, a lot of people get injured because they try to do too much too fast. They come in the gym and they want to put a lot of weight on the rack. So we want to make sure you're doing proper technique and you want to pick the right amount of weight for good form. So for my model here, Specialist Velez, the proper weight that he has here is 50 pounds. And we're going to show you a good squat with this weight here. So what you want to do, first thing, is just place the weight just below your neck. So it's kind of resting on your traps up here. A good stance usually is about shoulder width apart. Okay? What he's going to do now is he's just going to lower down, keeping his back fairly straight, but sticking his butt out just a little bit. Okay? Going down. You don't want to squat too low. Don't want your knees to go over your toes, about 90 degrees of that flexion there and just squatting straight down, keeping head and eyes up, just down, and then coming back up. Okay, so that's a good squat. Hey, thanks for checking us out. Remember that technique is really important when you're in the gym, and also don't increase your weight too fast. Make sure you're ready for that increase. Thanks to my model, Specialist Velez, for helping us out today. I'm Captain Heather Lopez, Brigade Physical Therapist, and this was your safety session.
Good call, ma'am. And if you're gonna do it right. Speaking of doing it right, there's a high-speed troop out of Tri-Cav that's been doing it right here in Operation Dragon Strike. Get a load of this. Since the beginning of fall, Combined Task Force Strike has been conducting an offensive operation against Taliban called Operation Dragon Strike, and the results have been huge. The units attached to the 2nd Brigade are clearing Taliban strongholds south of Kandahar's Highway 1, and because of it, districts like Zari, Maiwan, and Panjwai have seen an increase in security. What was once considered Taliban property has now been given back to the populace. One of the high-speed units involved with the offensive is Headquarters and Headquarters Troop, 1st Squadron, 75th Cavalry Regiment, and the missions these guys are doing are pretty remarkable. You know, not too long ago, HHT, also known as the Warriors, went out on a patrol with their Afghan partners in support of Operation Dragon Strike to get rid of enemy firing points found along Highway 1, and that is exactly what they did. The partner platoon started their dismounted patrol from FOB Wilson, crossing over Highway 1 into southern Zari. Their destination was an area called Chilliwack, a known Taliban stronghold used to attack U.S. and ANA forces while on the highway. The patrol took warrior troops through a couple of villages where they were greeted by some of the locals. "Hey, sir, how you doing?" Just before arriving at the enemy firing points, the platoons took contact from the south. The troops returned fire and advanced on the enemy as the 2-hour firefight started. Now, Combined Task Force Strike fights its battles with combined arms, utilizing all of its assets to take out the enemy. So as HHT attacked from the ground and mounted element protected the rear, birds flew in firing from the skies and artillery guns pummeled the points of contact. It was over for the enemy. Forget about it. The warriors continued the mission and located the Taliban firing points. Also on the mission were Combined Task Force Strike combat engineers, and with their dead cords and anti-personnel obstacle breaching equipment, also known as the APOB, took out the targets one at a time. First Lieutenant Riley McAvoy, a platoon leader with the troops, said, "By removing the firing points the Taliban use along Highway 1, we removed the Taliban's ability to limit our movement in the area, and that is what we trained for. This is a classic dismounted fight." With the firing points eliminated and Highway 1 more secure, the troops headed back to FOB Wilson. About halfway there, they took contact once again, and just as before, defeated Taliban. The HHT warriors and their Afghan partners all returned to FOB Wilson, and because of their efforts and bravery that day, security has increased for southern Afghanistan and its people. Strike.
My name is Staff Sergeant Jacob Strand. I'm here with the Strike Brigade, 2nd Brigade, 101st, deployed to Afghanistan. I just want to say hi to my wife especially back in West Lafayette, Indiana, and all my friends and family back home in Fort Wayne. Go Hoosiers.
My wife and daughter, my wife Deborah and my daughter Brianna, they're all back at Clarksville right now, back at Fort Campbell, and I'd like to say hello and love and miss you guys.
The soldiers on the front line for the Strike Brigade are already heroes. These guys take it to the next level. Here's this episode's Heroes of the Day.
I was exposed to an IED blast.
The blast, it went off, threw me like good 4 or 5 feet, and it knocked me out for a couple seconds.
Post-traumatic stress. It launched me up in the air. I hit a wall, and I took shrapnel to my shoulders, both shoulders, and back of the head. And then I was knocked out when I hit the wall. So I eventually woke up and started treating people when I came to.
I came to, everything was cloudy, and the guy who stepped on it, the ANA who stepped on it, he was gone.